There are so many challenges when trying to capture the essence of these water jets on a phone camera, but I've got a couple of tips and techniques that might help us to crack the challenge. So, tip one is to get down low. In fact, what I'm going to do is to rest my phone right here on the ground. That's going to do a number of things. It's going to create a nice stable platform to shoot from because I'm shooting something that's moving very quickly. Water, when it's falling from the sky, tends to do that. So that's the first thing. Now, the other thing that resting my phone and angling it upwards from the floor will do is give me the background because, as I say, there's a lot of people around here. I don't want them to clutter my shot. I want this wonderful sort of brick building behind me to act as a neutral-ish, interesting but neutral-ish sort of background. And I think it'll contrast nicely with the very lightly coloured water drops in the foreground. Now, next thing is to kind of help that is that I'm in my camera's pro mode or manual mode. It might be called something different on your phone, but essentially what I'm doing is changing the shutter mode, the shutter speed, to 1/1000th of a second. And that means that the water is going to be frozen, not literally, but I'm going to be able to see every droplet of water rather than it all kind of being run in as one kind of hose-pipey mass. I'm just adjusting a couple of angles here with my phone. You can see the water cascading towards me. These fountains are on a repeating pattern, so I get a moment to anticipate. Because there's just ever so slightly a bit of a lag. I press the shutter and a fraction of a second later, the exposure seems to be taken. So just that opportunity to anticipate is really important. Now, of course, I'm not able to get my head right down to ground level, otherwise it'd be very wet. So what I'm going to do is just after every few of these shots, just check, make sure that it is looking like how I think it's looking from a distance, and I'm not wasting too much of my time getting images that aren't working. Speaking of which, I think I've got a few shots here that I certainly will use. Let's take a look. When you open your phone into its automatic camera mode, the normal mode it will open into when you open the app, this is the sort of shot that you might get when taking an image of fast-moving water. You can see that it's all a bit blurry. The water droplets are kind of fuzzy, indistinct, can't really make out what's going on. It's all one big sort of mushy, misty mess. Compositionally, this shot's really not too bad. It feels nice and flat. I've got interest going across the frame, but it's the water that's the area of interest for me, and it's not quite worked this time around. For this shot, I opened my camera's pro manual mode and I upped the shutter speed to 1/1000th of a second. And that's enabled me to get a much sharper image of these water drops. Look at these globules of water from the jets, particularly on the right-hand side. The magnificent shapes that they create are much more exciting than the fuzzy ones you might get with your camera in its automatic mode. Compositionally, this is where this image does fall down for me a little bit. There is an image all the way across the frame and there's an annoying human hidden at the bottom of this image. That means that it doesn't quite work out for me quite as I would like. When an image comes together just how you hope it will. Lots of things to like in this shot. First of all is the alignment, the horizontal alignment. I've just got this shard going across the frame of the sky above the building there, and the bottom of the frame as well is just beautifully aligned, as are these plumes of water. We've got from the foreground going into the background this kind of V shape of the fountains, all pluming at the same time. But then right in the middle, majestically, we've got this kind of central spout. And the water, because we're on that fast shutter speed, the water drops are super sharp. I'm really happy with this image. It's actually come out a little bit contrastier than I hoped it would, but the foreground and the background balance each other out really nicely. Very happy indeed.